Which legendary Reddit post/comment can you still not get over? There was a post on r/a of a gorilla using sign language to tell people not to feed it or something to that effect. To this day, I still laugh when I think about a comment that said, "It's a shame there's so many deaf gorillas." This one guy was on the toilet, and he sneezed while he was taking a shit. That same moment, the power in his house went out. He proceeded to cry because he thought he shit himself blind. Maybe someone can help me find the actual post. It was from 5 years ago on a post about what you would do with a specific amount of money, like $5 million in a lottery. Someone replied with, "Is that enough to rent an orange cat for 2 years?" And it was so far out of left field and hilarious to me that I haven't stopped thinking about it. Someone in r/homeowners trying to get rid of ants in their house. Tons of comments. One fellow Redditor suggested maybe there were no ants, that they were hallucinations due to carbon monoxide poisoning. OP had his house tested and turns out there were, in fact, no ants and he was hallucinating them due to carbon monoxide poisoning. I can't remember everything about the post or even which sub it was in, but I think about this one a lot. OP was staying in a hotel and the person in the room next to them was blasting Sesame Street. They suddenly heard a grown man yell, "God damn it, Mr. Noodle." This comment from Arnold Schwarzenegger lifting up a guy who had a terrible day at the gym. I always say don't be afraid of failure, because how far can you really fall? You found out, to the ground. It's right there. Now you know it isn't anything that should scare you. Believe I saw it on Reddit, a IT tech related post. Guy starts a new job as a system admin, no other IT at the place. Previous admin had been there for just about fucking forever and left behind some documentation, but not enough to make the job easy. The guy finds a note from the previous tech with a few miscellaneous tips, and then says, if there is a critical emergency and everything else has failed, there is a box in the server room behind the switch, open only as a last resort. Guy is there for a few years, metaphorical fires get fixed, he learns the tricks of the place, but one day the server doesn't boot, tries everything, can't get it to work, all the files are there, the company can't function. Actual fires are about to start. Guy freaks out and remembers the emergency box and figures now should be an emergency and figures maybe the guy left access info to off-site backups or tape drives or some sort of disaster recovery and goes into the server room. Behind the switch is a box, pulls it out and opens it to find a bottle of tequila. Reminds me of an old story. The former president gives the new president 3 boxes and asks him to open one each time he is in a major crisis. When faced with his first crisis, he opens the first box and it says, blame it on the previous administration. When faced with his second crisis, he opens the second box and it says, blame it on the opposition. When faced with his third crisis, at almost the end of his term, he opens the third box and it says, remake these 3 boxes and give them to your successor. I can't find the post, but it was a man whose son was born evil. They knew it right away, born in the 70s, I believe. When he, the son, was older, he tried to kill his baby sister, or something, and the mom started to beat him up. The dad left the room and waited until she stopped. She came out 20 minutes later and he said, is he dead? She said, my God, I hope so. They locked themselves downstairs for 2 weeks, listening to him move around a little bit here and there. After 2 weeks he left and they never saw him again. I forget the whole thing, but something along the lines of a guy had to go to a dinner with his wife's parents. Ate some edibles not realizing how strong they were. And he was sweating like a pig claiming how spicy the food was. Then his wife was like, we've only had the appetizer bread and water. I have no idea how to get the link, but it had me in tears the first time. Trust me, it's way funnier than I make it to be. I tried really hard to find the original post, but I couldn't find it anymore. It was a post in r/amithasshole where an Uber driver drove a girl to a restaurant where she was meeting her boyfriend. Before he dropped her off, he gave her a respectful comment, nothing inappropriate and without any bad intentions. He was asking if he was the asshole and the answer was no. The best part happened in the comments section where somebody asked if he was living in a specific city. He replied a little freaked out with yes. Turn out it was the stranger cousin that he gave the compliment to. After he dropped her off at the restaurant, she went inside to meet her boyfriend. However, it wasn't a nice night because he broke up with her. She told her cousin that the compliment that her Uber driver gave her some comfort or made her happy or something like that. The girl and the Uber driver then contacted each other through the cousin. I don't know what happened afterwards, but if somebody knows this post, I will give you a virtual hug if you could link it. So a while back there was a post I think on r/Insanipiopus book of a woman looking for a bus to hold 60 people for a church function and was so fucking hostile and rude about it. In one post she says next, and for months on Reddit people were always saying next to everything, but it seemed nobody besides me remembers this and I can't find the post. Edit. Okay, so apparently I'm not the only one who remembers this. Wish it would make a comeback. There was one that I've never been able to find again, but some guy insulted somebody and he replied with something like, says the virgin with the 3-inch penis, and provided links from the other guy's post history that proved both those assertions. It was an absolute burial. You love to see it. I remember one where some guy did some rendering of animation or something for IIRC Disney and they paid him a bunch of money to basically do nothing but run some program on his computer. He then, for Reddit karma, turned a not yet released bit of animation into a meme and Disney found out about it and fired him, so he ended up having to deliver mail. If anyone remembers that one and can find a link, please do. The guy who wanted to pay his neighbor, female neighbor at that, to make him food, his logic was that she was already making food for herself, so why wouldn't she be able to set aside a portion for him? Pretty sure his neighbor said fuck off, and then he had the audacity to post about it and bitch on Reddit. The guy asking for relationship advice because his socks keep disappearing until he finds out his GF is cleaning her shit with it. Shit hits the fan. OP talks to her sister only to find out sister knows and is now mad at OP for being weirded out by it all. I think they are done, which is sad. OP was thinking about marrying the poop sock chick. Guy gets a girl pregnant, she wants to abort but he doesn't. Convinces her not to, but they agree that as soon as the kid is born she waives all parental rights, and even pays 125% of her child support payments. A year and a half goes by and Guy is salty that he's an exhausted single dad while his ex is living her best life. Wants to sue her for being a deadbeat parent, despite him getting exactly what he asked for. Edit. Since comments keep speculating, he stated in one reply that he hoped she would bond with the kid while pregnant and change her mind about being a mother. So way back when, 2008 to 2009, some Redditor got very excited over his 2 a.m. chili and posted an extensive tutorial, in full, fuck yeah bell peppers style. Naturally, this became a meme. Concurrently, another Redditor posted nothing less than the life hack of the century: freeze a block of water, squirt shower gel on top, freeze that, and now you have ice soap. TM. This was a fine enough goof, but the OP's insistence that this was much more efficient than putting shower gel on one's body made it become a meme. So what happens when two memes are popular at the same time? Exactly. Someone froze a block of chili and rubbed their body with it, and achieved the coveted #1 spot. This site is weird like that. Sorry, no links as I'm on mobile. Many thanks to whomever is willing to dig them up. There was a guy on AITA that had a son with his ex-wife and he moved away and started a new family. This man was a mechanic his whole life, and with his first son had promised him when he was like 4 to 6 that he'd get this sweet car they'd worked on. Instead, he gives it to his 16-year-old son from the second marriage, and his first son was furious. Like never speaking to you again furious. Dad was dumbfounded. Then the son sent him a video where dad promised him the car at his birthday party. Turns out his first son went to school to be a mechanic like his dad. This MFR had never even once asked what his son was doing with his life. I've never been so sad reading a story on Reddit. One time on r/relationship_advice, some guy posted a thread called, "My 25M girlfriend 26F baked all the beans. Now I consider to end our relations. What do I do?" It's deleted now though, but I still have the full post. I discovered this in another one of these AskReddit posts, but honestly it's too good not to put here. Now without further ado, here it is. Hello, my girlfriend and me have done dating for 5 months. I thought, this girl is very good, and became of love with her, yet even so, on this Monday, I come at home and found she has baked all my beans, yes, all. Oh brother, in my cupboard I store several bag of bean, to make soft and to bake on some days, to have a bit of baked bean on my dinner. Or, heck, a lunch too some days, but on the Monday I find this girlfriend baked all the beans. I say, why do you bake my beans? And she say something as, I bakes them good to save time, so I bakes them all now. I am astonished and full of dismay. I say, I can for not eat all the beans. She say she is froze many of the beans so as we can unfrozen the on a later day and eat some at a time. But, if a bean is froze and unfrozed, the very good and very nice flavor of bean is gone far. A bean is best if baked fresh as a Sunday pie. Not to be froze and unfroze. I told my girlfriend I am so sad of this, as to my opinion the baking of the beans and to freeze them has ruined all my beans. She say I am gone haywire by my enragement and sad manners, but I hates what she did to my beans. On the days before Monday I thought, will we marry the girlfriend? Well, it might be so, but now I am so sad she baked them beans. I am considered to end our relations and not be the boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. But, is my idea wrong? Could my girlfriend make promise to not bake the beans? I do not know what doing to do and how to feel forgiving on her.